everyone, we are Geeks Not Nerds. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Brandon.
Brandon's filling in today for Vince. Brandon, welcome back to the program.
Glad to be back.
Today, our question comes from us.
Yes.
We came up with a question that we would like to answer, and today we're going to be talking about optimism and pessimism.
That's right.
And the question is optimism in entertainment dead? The question is, can you still make really optimistic kinds of things and expect them to perform financially and expect to still gain a mass audience with them, considering that so many things these days seem to be very much about realism
and pessimism.
Kind of cynical.
Well, these days things are going down, and the movies are just taking that and running with it, you know, down, down, down.
So, 10 minutes on the clock, and we'll get into it. Now, I think a lot of this has to do simply with the idea of realism.
Yes.
The idea being that because things are, be they this way or not, things seem to be like really dangerous and scary and things like that in a great deal of places, at least in America.
Yes,
And so, if we don't reflect that in a movie, then we're not being realistic enough, and people feel like they can't believe what they're seeing.
That's true. I think you make a good point there. People, in order to be really drawn into a movie, you kind of have to believe what you're seeing. I mean, to a point, if you can make something look believable, even if you already know it's beyond the realm of possibility this day and age, you know, that can really draw you into something. But these days, people see optimism and they think that there's just no way for optimism anymore at all. Like, I seem to think that, like, movie producers especially think that optimism is out the window. And I disagree on that. I think that there is a glimmer of hope, so to speak. You know, I'm optimistic about optimism in the movies,
and I would like to be. And it seems to me like what a lot of producers and directors seem to think is that and frankly a lot of viewers, I think, is that if you make something that is just simply fun and is not making some giant grandiose statement about things, is it really heavy, that it can't be taken seriously, that it's just cute.
Oh, yeah. The cuteness factor is a little bit of a... It's a bit of a turn-off.
Jason, don't touch that. Jason.
You can do it in such a way, and we've seen it a little bit here and there. You can do it without being all cutesy and stuff like that. But
I think it's just kind of perceived that way, even if it's not cutesy.
I'll put it this way. I
don't think something like Back to the Future would be made now. I don't think it would be made now.
No, Back to the Future couldn't be made now. Something like that, but you've got the stuff that's like overly optimistic. I put that on the Disney Channel. You know, the Disney Channel is way too overly optimistic. That's extremely cutesy.
I wouldn't even call that optimistic so much as just like brainless.
Brainless. It's very unrealistic.
Yeah.
I consider that to just be the stuff of what I don't want to see in my movies. You've got like these Disney star children, right? That
Yes.
They're oozing with this stuff. And I'll give you a case in point. This Selena Gomez girl, I watched the music video of her, I think it's called Love You Like a Love Song. And
this is why I have you over, because I don't keep up with anything current
You don't keep
anymore.
up with stuff like that. You've been especially busy, I know. But
well, no, but I just, with that kind of thing, I wouldn't anyway. You know
Here's the thing, though.
I don't keep up with music scene anymore. I don't watch a lot of TV anymore.
She's one of these Disney star children, right? But she does that. She turned of age recently, I believe, and her newest video is just so... They've dolled her up to such an extreme, you wouldn't even know she ever started out in Disney. I mean, it's just like... She's oozing I'd say, the sex appeal in this video. I mean, the music, I love the song, but when I saw the music video, it took it to a whole nother level that I'm not even sure I can really like the song without feeling like a creep.
I don't know how on topic this is, but I feel the need to make a point about that, to bring this up, so if you'll allow me.
Yes.
something that has been bugging me a lot lately is that it seems like we are objectifying women in our culture right now more than we ever have before,
Yes.
and yet they're supposed to be equals with men. I don't understand that. It makes no sense. It's like, okay, so everybody is on the same playing field, except if you want to be a woman in entertainment and get by, you have to be more of a sex symbol than you ever were before.
It's like you gotta get down and dirty to be respectable.
And the thing is, we've been
totally
saying
bogus.
this for decades and decades,
It's
but
worse now than it was before.
if you look at how many clothes we've taken off now, not me, us personally, if you look at how many clothes,
I'm taking it
if
off
you look at how
right
many
now.
clothes, women have been asked to take off lately. I mean, like we were saying this in the early '90s, you know what I mean? And it's just interesting how perspectives have changed. Where what was raunchy in the '90s isn't even kind of raunchy now,
Well, what was
and what was
raunchy
raunchy in the '70s wasn't raunchy in the
70s,
yeah.
60s, 50s. I was watching
Just
something.
escalation.
I was watching something. There's this movie that came on like TCM, and it was rated X when it came out, and before they changed all the ratings and everything. And it was rated X because some women in the saloons were showing their legs and their undergarments, which came down past their knees.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, I saw that in yesterday's Viagra commercial.
Yeah.
Like seriously, it's like
you saw a lot more than that on the cover of Vogue. Yeah.
I mean, I can see more than
Is
that.
Vogue even published anymore? Is that even a magazine?
Yeah, it's still a magazine.
I was just wondering.
I see it every once in a while going through the. Pretty sure I see it next to Ebony and Tattoo.
Okay, I'll say Maxim then. You see a great deal more
my
than
goodness.
that on the cover
on the
of
cover,
Maxim. Yeah.
on the cover, and then and it doesn't leave much to the imagination
at all.
And it's just like. No, but you're right, and that's a very pessimistic view.
But I think that absolutely relates. Yeah,
it's a very pessimistic view of the direction that we're headed, and I'd like to think
I think our views have been skewed so that that's just acceptable now.
Let me say this:
that's reality now.
I'd like to think that non-sex can sell just as well, if not better, than sex. I'd like to be optimistic about that.
If you can make something that somebody is really that people get really excited about, so that they don't even think sex. You know, just this idea that we must have sex in our thing to sell it. What if what you're making isn't about sex?
Right.
Why does it need a sex symbol? Why did we have to have Jolene Blaylock in Enterprise? Like you know, when you have things that are not about sex. Okay, I was at a sci-fi convention this last weekend, a sci-fi book convention specifically.
Right. Okay.
And I was on a panel about screenwriting. This is going to relate. I was on a panel.
I trust you. I'm optimistic about this.
Wonderful. I was on a panel with some other book writers, and none of us were script writers, but we were on a panel about script writing. And what we were talking about mostly was, well, that's what it said in the program, was script writing. Well, we actually, but we didn't really find out what exactly the topic was till we got there. Right. And what it actually ended up being about was adapting books to screen, and how much control book writers want. Right. And where you draw the line at selling out and that sort of thing. And I can't remember his name now, but the gentleman sitting next to me to the left had written a book called Pirates of Mars.
Okay.
So I guess you can look that up and find it. I don't remember his name, but he had written a book called Pirates of Mars, and he had when he got the cover back, he didn't really care for the cover. But what he had discovered, his publisher picked the cover, and I guess he didn't have much say on what the cover was going to be, and he didn't really care for it. But everybody started complimenting him on the cover, and he decided he was a lot cooler with it than he was before, because what everybody was saying was, we're very impressed because your book cover is a sci-fi novel and it has a fully clothed woman on the cover.
Yeah,
you never see that.
You don't see it.
It's not just sci-fi. You just don't see that.
That's very true.
A lot of the time, when we're talking about, especially genre stuff.
That's really true, because they all want to. It seems that the demographic that people want to really pull in these days is like males in the 18 to 30 years. 30 years, I think, like on some of this stuff, and they're really trying, or even less than that, but they're trying to pull in with these scantily clad women and these things of these natures. Even dating sites are kind of do the same thing. I see ads for that, and they show some woman on their ad that's just like, she somewhere in the back of her mind, she's asking for it.
I think what bugs me the most about this is simply the way the attitude is shifted. Now, I'm not going to say that there are... Okay, I don't want to be that guy who comes out and says, things are worse now than they've ever been. Because they're not. You know what I mean? On the whole, there are certainly times in the history of mankind that are a lot worse than this one, okay?
Oh, yeah.
In varying ways. I'm trying to put this in perspective.
This is only one part of the greater whole.
Exactly. I want to put this in perspective, but I wanted to say that to say this.
That's true.
I think what bugs me the most is how the attitude has shifted. Where 20 years ago, or especially 30 years ago, what we were worried about, or what a lot of people were worried about when it came to censorship and things like that, were what our children saw. We were afraid of what our children were going to see before certain ages. We don't care anymore. We don't care, and that's what bothers me the most about it.
I gotta give you an example.
Don't care.
There's a complete example. I work at a place that sells video games. Among other things, they sell video games. And we have a sign that says, I'll finish this.
No, that's okay. I don't think we've hardly even answered the question, so we'll go a few more minutes. Go ahead.
We've got a sign that says, and speaking to this, like, morals continue to slide, but we've got a sign that says that we will not sell anything rated a particular rating to anyone under that rating level and under that age, like mature 17 plus.
Right.
We will not sell to a 16-year-old. We will not sell to a 16 and 364-day-old. You have to be the age, you know.
Right.
And these parents come up and buy it for their 11-year-old. Like, what does that say? I mean, there's a reason it's rated that way. I'm not going to let my 11-year-old in on that type of thing. You know, that's just, there is a point where there is too much violence, there is too much gore.
Yeah, and the problem
there is too much innuendo.
Yeah, and the problem is that these days it seems like the best and most artistic things have that stuff in them.
They do.
You know,
but that doesn't make them the best. That doesn't make them the most artistic.
No, it's just that it's
there,
and it does help sell them.
That's what they're doing.
And it's problematic. Yeah, here's the thing.
Exactly.
I don't have a problem with the fact that those things are being made. I have a problem with the fact that there's nothing for those kids.
That's true.
Nothing good for those kids.
Here's the thing.
I don't want to say nothing. Not enough.
Sesame Street still sells. That's optimistic. That's good. That's wholesome stuff. You know,
it's not good anymore. But yeah.
Okay, I'll say this: the older I agree with you. I don't think
it has the kind of education value that it used to.
It doesn't. But the older Sesame
that show's
Street,
gotten way too much about social values and things, and it's gotten way away from just basic stuff.
Here's my point, though. Like Sesame Street, you take Sesame Street back. That kind of stuff, I am absolutely optimistic that type of stuff still has a place.
It does.
It has a place. It's whether or not the parents are willing to give it its rightful place.
Yeah, and they have to before the people making it are going to.
That's true, because if they're not going to give it a place, if they're not going to give it a place, nobody's going to make it.
Sorry about my son on the show. We're the only people here, and we wanted to make a video, so anyway.
He's wearing Sarah's hat,
This is entirely unprofessional. We apologize. Anyway.
But if the parents aren't going to make a place for their children to see this kind of stuff, no one's going to produce it, because then there's no outlet for it. The spot is there, but there's no outlet because they're not... Come here, buddy. That's the catch-22 of this situation. Nobody's going to make it because the parents aren't going to show it. And if the parents aren't going to show it, nobody's going to make it. That type of thing. But there is a spot for it. And the thing that kind of got us on this subject was the Muppet movie, the latest Muppet movie. Excellent movie.
And that was, and part of the reason it was so good, besides the fact that it was just really well written and 8 shades of hilarious, is that that's what it's about. It's about how optimism seems to have lost its place, and it was trying to prove that there still was a place. And guess what? The film performed.
It did.
That's important.
And it was classic Muppets. It wasn't catering to today's kind of sexy, raunchy humor. It was classic Muppet.
And updated to the point that it needed to be updated.
Right. I mean, it
wasn't a 70s film.
It had the classic Muppet elements, you know, and it had the classic Muppet humor, and it was about a time when
it was updated.
And they even came right out and said it. They said the character, the TV exec, she's like, You guys are old news. Nobody wants the Muppets anymore. You guys are out of touch.
I think the most profound thing they did was when Kermit the Frog tried to say, "I'm a celebrity."
Yeah.
And she's like, "No, you're not."
Yeah, no, you're not. You're not. Nobody knows who you are anymore.
Yeah, that's great. And here's the thing. I think it's important to say that that the point of that movie is not that we need to keep nostalgia going forever.
No,
it's not about
right.
the Muppets. It's about the idea that family entertainment can still be entertaining to everybody.
The ideals.
Here's what I hate that happens in comic books that I think happens everywhere. The idea that all ages means for children. I really hate this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All ages should mean all ages.
Right.
It's okay for children, and adults will get things out of it also.
It's like this.
We're not trying
Legos
this
are all
anymore.
Legos are all ages.
Absolutely.
And I love playing with Legos. I'm gonna say it. And maybe you can bleep that.
I'm gonna have to. Anyway, go ahead. That's cool.
Legos are for all ages, and so should this video be for all ages.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Well, hey, I don't think we went anything like as far with this as we could have, but
No.
But of course, as we always say, Geeks and Not Nerds is about starting conversations, not finishing them. So feel free to continue this conversation.
Finish the conversation.
Feel free to continue this conversation in the comments. Anything you'd like to say, and of course your opinions, and also if there's anything you'd like us to talk about in a future video, me and Vince, or me and Brandon. And Brandon, please come back. It's always good to have you, buddy.
I'd like to say anything you say and do will not be held against you in the court of Geeks Not Nerds. just saying. We will not come after you. We appreciate the commentary. I know I always like looking back on certain videos and seeing like, oh, somebody commented about that. Like, that was great, you know. I like it.
Also, I want to say really quick, for anybody that hasn't seen it yet, do be sure and check out the Geeks United Club. We just put a video up about that a few days ago, and we've already gotten quite a few people to sign up. It's this brand new thing we're doing where you get my book and a DVD and a bunch of other really fun things, including a letter from Doomsvents and a personalized video from us on a DVD, plus all kinds of other really fun things. It's $20. Go check it out, and thanks a lot for watching. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Brandon.
Reminding you to support your local comic book store.